Arsenal have surprised once again. Despite the entire focus of the fanbase being on new forwards, today we have got two separate here we goes. So today we'll discuss the details behind Arsenal's second signing of the summer, get a surprising update on Benjamin Sesko, as well as a former Arsenal player talking about Gyökeres. We'll discuss the breaking news around Partey, as well as discussing Arsenal's midfield here we go for a very surprising signing. Yo, what is going on guys? My name is Bass14, welcome back to Boys Channel and I hope you guys are doing sensational. After Arsenal's second here we go of the window, as well as some breaking news regarding a midfielder. Let's just say we've got a lot to break down, so as per, smash a like on this video if you do enjoy and subscribe to the channel if you are new, helping your boy on the road to 300,000 subscribers. But starting off with Arsenal's here we go. The first of course, which was Martin Zubimendi. We know that deal is done, we know that it's signed and the medical is completed. But what about a brand new goalkeeper? After the departure of Aaron Ramsdale back last summer, despite Arsenal's initial interest in Jean Garcia, we missed the chance last summer and now he's going to Barcelona. So come 2025 with the new sporting director in Ornstein, with all the focus to reinvest our main money on the forward line, we saw an opportunity coming out of Chelsea, as Arsenal most often seem to do. We of course are talking about Kepa Arrizabalaga, after back-to-back years on loan, first at Real Madrid and then at Bournemouth. With a £5 million release clause, Andrea Berta saw it and he made it happen. So after the hand of Arsenal confirmed, Kepa Arrizabalaga has officially signed his contract for Arsenal Football Club. The Spaniard is the second official signing of the transfer window. All paperwork is complete. We then got the famous three words from Fabio Vieira: Kepa to Arsenal, here we go. Deal done for the Spanish goalkeeper to join Arsenal as a new backup for David Raya. Arsenal activate the £5 million clause from Chelsea, and all documents are now sealed. One more addition for Partey after Martin Zubimendi. This for me is not an exciting signing, more of a solid one. A player that comes in and ticks quite a few boxes. He's got the Premier League experience. He's shown that he can be a starter for Bournemouth, as well as being happy to compete. Where last year in the Premier League he had the 8th highest save percentage out of any goalkeeper, with 71.3%. That is only 0.4% behind David Raya. Ultimately, this is a transfer that Arsenal fans do not need to overthink. We wanted a backup goalkeeper. We found one with Premier League experience for only £5 million. Is he gonna excite us? No, but does he do the job? It seems to me like Andrea Berta's strategy is becoming more and more clear, where in the past Arsenal have fixated on the number one target in every single position, ending most windows missing out on those key players. Andrea Berta's come in and he's no longer overthinking it. If you want a backup goalkeeper, I'm gonna find you one. Then use the money in areas that are far more important. Whether it's Kepa or other signings that aren't expensive, these deals to me only make sense if Arsenal make the marquee signings in the other areas. So after Ihsan Khan confirmed, at least 5 signings are to be made in the summer, which Arsenal insiders say would definitely be a pack one in terms of incomings. A striker is front and centre of the club's priority list, while a new defender is also a part of that list. But if we're talking about defenders, what about the future of Alexander Zinchenko, a player set to leave Arsenal in summer 2025, with only 1 year left on his contract? Despite the initial reports coming out of AC Milan, claiming they saw the player as a replacement for Theo Hernandez, as previously reported by Hand of Arsenal, AC Milan had contacted Arsenal to understand the situation of the player, but they were told that 2 other clubs were in the mix as well. The message from Andrea Berta was clear: pay a respectable sum or leave the room. So after Matteo Moretto then confirmed Zinchenko is no longer a target to replace Hernandez, whether it's the fact that he's earning over £150,000 a week, or the fact that Arsenal weren't budging on their price tag, Andrea Berta remains firm because he knows offers were right. And now according to reports in the UK, Premier League side Fulham are ready to enter the race to sign Zinchenko, as the Cottagers could have an advantage over the competition. Now being in London is definitely going to be an advantage, but at the same time, what is Arsenal's value? Because according to more reports in the UK, Zinchenko is a major target for Fulham. He looks almost certain to leave Arsenal this summer, and there will be no shortage of takers. Arsenal value Zinchenko at £12.7 million, while Fulham think they can land the player for around £10 million, which for a lot of Arsenal fans we're not going to understand. Zinchenko may no longer be a guaranteed first-team starter, but a player that Arsenal once spent £35 million on took us from a top 4 race to title contention. Even £12 million seems way too low. But with only 1 year left on his contract, and massive wages as well, that was always going to work against Arsenal in the favour of selling the player, unless he went to a club inside the Champions League. In terms of previous reports, as they have confirmed, Arsenal's initial price tag is €20 million, and I really do hope they stay firm on that. But talking of Arsenal futures, what about the returning Fabio Vieira, after being a part of the FIFA Club World Cup with Porto, failing to win a single game in the group stage, their final one being a crazy game against Al Ahly, ending 4-4 in a game that Vieira did start, in a game that he dropped a 6.3 rating, despite getting an assist from a fantastic corner, only 13 accurate passes, 1 key pass, as well as 1 penalty gave away. With the heat map showing that he was playing mainly on the right hand side, Porto have now been knocked out, which does mean that Fabio Vieira will return to Arsenal. And that's where the question goes towards Mikel Arteta. For a player that Arsenal once invested £35 million on, because they saw him as a final ball specialist. That's an attribute that Fabio Vieira still excels at, as well as being an area that Arsenal do need to improve in. But ultimately, with the emergence of Ethan Nwaneri, a player that also has a final ball, as well as more power and physicality, at 25 years of age, Fabio Vieira is entering his most important summer as an Arsenal player. With Arsenal not giving Porto any option to buy, if any club does want to sign the player, they will have to negotiate with Andrea Berta. So it all falls down to Mikel Arteta. Does he think Fabio Vieira is a part of his first team? And can he utilise him in a way that Arsenal fans see, while we once spent £35 million on it? But now let's talk about his very good friend Gabriel Martinelli. After reliable reports in Germany confirmed that Bayern Munich had interest, now according to the reliable Gunner blog, Gabriel Martinelli is happy at Arsenal, and the club expect him to stay. However, if an attractive buyer came in for Martinelli at an appropriate price, especially one which enabled Arsenal to land some of their top targets, then Arsenal's position could shift. Which makes me wonder, what exactly is an appropriate price? In a market where Bryan Mbeumo has gone for £60 million, despite having only 1 year left on his contract, we're seeing £70 million reported for Antoine Semenyo. The wide forward market is definitely inflated. Surely Arsenal look at that and try to take advantage. But the most deciding factor is going to be clear. How much are Arsenal going to spend on their own wide forward? Because if we're talking upwards of £70 to £80 million, the sale of Martinelli, if the right offer arrives, could definitely be tempting, especially after all the reports about Leandro Trossard. The fact that Arsenal are going to give him a brand new contract, the idea of having Martinelli, if Arsenal do end up getting the left forward they want. Let's see which teams come in and how much they offer for Martinelli. But talking about Arsenal's wide forward signings, reported target Rafael Leao has sparked a lot of interest after posting a photo on his Instagram story wearing a Thierry Henry print shirt. For a player that said back in 2022, "I watch many games this year and I like Arsenal, they are playing very well." In summer 2023, as Arsenal pursued Declan Rice, here was Leao alongside the player as they enjoyed some off-season training. The wide forward market is starting to take shape. The fact that Chelsea are making the move for Gyökeres, confirmed by David Ornstein to be a deal that's very close, to the fact that Bayern are not giving up on Nico Williams, despite reports that he's set to go to Barcelona, whether it's Bradley Barcola, Rafael Leao, or even the popular Rodrigo goes, Arsenal do have options on the market. It then becomes more a question of ambition. In the case of Rafael Leao, a player that has the quality to be a game breaker, reports have claimed that AC Milan are open to a sale, reportedly starting at €60 million, which once upon a time would have been seen as a bargain. But with Arsenal fans knowing deep down how important it is for Mikel Arteta to have hard workers off the ball, that's where you have Real Madrid's Rodrigo, confirmed as Arsenal's #1 wide forward target. In recent months, Eric Goes, the dad of Rodrigo, has complained about his son's situation at the club, which has not gone down well at various levels at Madrid. Moving on to the midfield offer, an area in which Arsenal may have already strengthened, with a confirmed arrival of Martin Zubimendi, pending only official announcements. With the departure of Jorginho, Arsenal had to sign at least one midfielder, but with all the recent reports about Thomas Partey, Fabrizio Romano confirming the negotiations between Arsenal and Partey are not advancing, concrete chances to part ways in the upcoming days. We then got the breaking exclusive from Hand of Arsenal, confirming it's my understanding Thomas Partey will leave Arsenal Football Club, which was then co-signed by Fabrizio Romano, confirming Thomas Partey is set to leave Arsenal as a free agent at the end of the month. Story from last week has been confirmed. It brings to an end the era of an Arsenal midfield, the drama of summer 2022, the deadline day madness. Despite the consistent injury issues, when Thomas Partey was playing and was consistent, he was by far one of our most influential players. But at the age of 30, we're looking for one last major payday. Ultimately, Arsenal were not willing to offer the wages, and Thomas Partey is now going to leave on a free transfer. All but confirmed that Arsenal would go for a brand new midfielder. As confirmed by the Gunner blog, should Thomas Partey leave, Arsenal will need to find a replacement. However, they may not have the financial means to bring in someone at the same level. The matter remains unsolved for now, and the club is weighing up several options, with Sevilla's Lucien Agume among them. The report itself definitely confuses me. How can Arsenal not have the means to make moves happen, after windows and windows are saving up? All the briefs towards the end of last season confirming that Arsenal would have a massive war chest to spend. I get that Arsenal don't want to show their hand too much, but when fancy reports from this from reliable journalists, it's only going to cause anger. But in the case of Sevilla's Lucien Agume, confirmed to be a player that Arsenal like, Sevilla want to make as much profit as they can from this sale. Therefore, they're hoping to make a sale soon to generate funds, to pay Inter Milan for a pre-agreed right clause. Inter own 50% of the players' rights. It's a little complex, so let's see how it unfolds. But one thing that we do know is Arsenal do want a progressive defensive midfielder, which as this graphic shows, Zubimendi certainly is. Likewise, Lucio Agume and Andre Santos both reported targets, as well as Brentford's Christian Norgaard, which of course becomes very interesting after the recent reports that arrived today. As confirmed by David Ornstein, Arsenal are exploring a deal to sign Christian Norgaard from Brentford, after making a proposal for the 31-year-old midfielder worth €11 million, awaiting a Brentford reply. The Denmark international has a contract until June 2027, but is keen to leave. Among the options amid the potential Thomas Partey exits, we once again got another David Ornstein bomber, confirming that Arsenal are in the process of finalising an agreement with Brentford to sign Christian Norgaard. With the medical for the Denmark international being planned, we even got the three famous words from Fabio Romano. Christian Norgaard to Arsenal, here we go. Agreement done club to club after €11 million proposal. Personal terms will also agree with Norgaard. Brentford have authorised the player to travel. This will be the new midfielder to replace Thomas Partey, with even Ben Jacobs confirming Arsenal have agreed a £10 million plus £5 million fee with Brentford for Christian Norgaard. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta is the driving force behind the move, and it comes in the light of both Jorginho and Thomas Partey leaving on free transfers. Just when you think Arsenal can't surprise you, they hit you with another RKO. In the case of Christian Norgaard, a player that has a vast amount of Premier League experience, signing for Brentford back in 2019, having now played 4 seasons in the Premier League, with 5 goals and 4 assists last season, decent passing numbers with 33 passes per game and 83% success rates, as well as fantastic defensive numbers, 1.4 interceptions, 2.3 tackles per game, 5.7 ball recoveries. I'm not going to sit here and excite you about the profile, because I don't think it is. When you look at the player's key strengths, when compared to midfielders in Europe's top 5 leagues, you see a player that is very good defensively, as well as an eye for progressive passing. Rather seeing this as a great deal, I see it as a more solid signing. For a player who won a position in the midfield third 112 times last season, a number only better than Moses Caicedo, you also have his set piece ability. Not only able to take a fantastic long throw, having contributed to 10 goals last season, nearly every single one came from a set piece. This for me is very much an Andrea Berta-led deal. Having seen the signing of Kepa Arrizabalaga, if you're looking for a player who's a backup, Berta is not scared to go for experienced options on the market. But in the case of experience, Arsenal are losing quite a bit. From Neto at 35 to Kepa at 30, Partey at 32 to Zubimendi at 26, then Jorginho at 33 to Norgaard at 31. The key thing behind this though is you have to understand who Norgaard is replacing. Despite Mikel Arteta's clear desire to keep Partey, his first team place will be taken by Martin Zubimendi, while Norgaard will be more of a backup, just like Jorginho last season. Arsenal have once again shown they are able to get deals over the line, if the price tag's right. So talk to me about your thoughts down below in the comments. Christian Norgaard is coming to the Emirates Stadium, so what do you make of the signing? For me, it's a deal that I only accept if Arsenal spend a massive amount of money on the two marquee forwards, and according to Isan Khan, Mikel Arteta wants a striker before the preseason tour of Singapore and Hong Kong, which they fly out on July the 19th. Arsenal's priority is Benjamin Sesko, which makes a lot of sense, but it also shows that the clock is definitely ticking. The tour of course starts on the 19th, but players are set to report back to duty at least 2 weeks prior to that. So with no indication on the Sesko deal getting any closer, reports that Arsenal are still stuck in negotiations as they try to bring the price tag down. Despite a surprising report from Fabio Romano showing the entire world that Sesko has just recently followed Arsenal, for a player that also follows Real Madrid and Man City, I don't see this as any sort of breaking journalism. We have got breaking news on the other target in Victor Gyökeres, who according to Fabio Romano has personally informed Sporting Lisbon presidents about his decision to leave, with no intention to play for the club anymore. Gyökeres wants a new chapter. He feels heartbroken after the exit pact, and is not expected to return to training. With even the reliable Damasio claiming Arsenal will sign Victor Gyökeres because he wants to join Arsenal. Other clubs have tried to enter the race, but he will go to Arsenal. He was their first target from the start, and now they have to find an agreement with Sporting. Whether you think that Sesko has more potential, one thing that I will not deny, the fact that he wants to play for Arsenal so desperately definitely makes me sway more towards the player. Not to mention of course his incredible goal scoring record. The more I think about the player, the more I'm seeing mentality of a player that wants to come to Arsenal to be a game changer, because he knows to himself they can get us over the line. So when former Arsenal striker Chuba Akpom was asked, Gyökeres or Sesko, Chuba says Gyökeres for me and it's not even close, saying you can talk about ages for Sesko, but Gyökeres is ready now. A massive debate in the Arsenal fan that's been going on for a very long time. In the case of Victor Gyökeres, he has made it very clear Arsenal is his #1 priority, so it falls down to the club and Andrea Berta to see if that's the deal they want to make happen. But as Chuba Akpom also says, I think Gyökeres is a beast and we need him now. My dream is Rodrigo, Gyökeres and Saka on the right. I think that front three is deadly. But what do you guys think about that front three? How does it work on paper? And does it guarantee major silverware? But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy on all of his social medias, and the links are down below in the description. But that was all of your latest Arsenal transfer news today, as Arsenal got another here we go and made a midfield offer. We want that forward up there and hopefully we get it very soon. So my friends, I will see you next time. Take care and in a bit.